Welcome. We are the Gambling Databases research team.
And our mission is simple, really.
It is. We deliver in-depth, data-driven analysis of the global iGaming landscape. In these sessions, we look at everything from local regulations to, what players are actually experiencing on the ground.
And today, we are diving into a market that is just defined by contradiction.
We are.
We're focusing on Iran, a major nation where the iGaming industry operates under, well, absolute legal hostility.
And that's the core tension, isn't it? That's what we really need to get into.
Right.
You have a country with over 87 million people where the demand for online entertainment, iGaming included, is just incredibly high.
But the government sees any participation, whether you're an operator or just a player, as a serious criminal offense.
An offense with severe penalties. We're talking physical and financial punishment.
This analysis is so critical because Iran is this singularly challenging market.
Yeah.
But despite all the risks, it's undeniably sizable.
It's a textbook black market.
Exactly. A complete absence of any legal licensing, and the whole environment is just characterized by this harsh, active, and very sophisticated prohibition.
So our goal here is to give you a clear, data-driven look at how this industry actually functions when it's completely forbidden.
How does a multi-million-dollar illegal market even sustain itself against the full weight of a state that is committed to shutting it down?
So where do we start? The legal framework.
We have to. The foundational legal framework is, it's unequivocal. All gambling is prohibited.
And this is deep-seated.
It's rooted in the Islamic Penal Code,
Uh-huh.
which deems all games of chance or haram completely forbidden.
And this isn't just some vague policy. This is codified criminal law we're talking about.
Precisely. Article 705 explicitly bans everything. Land-based, sports betting, online platforms, all of it.
Okay, so what are the actual penalties?
They're substantial.
Yeah.
And immediate. Violators face criminal prosecution ranging from 1 to 6 months of imprisonment.
Wow.
And importantly, these offenses can also bring corporal punishment, specifically up to 74 lashes.
74.
Or both prison and lashes, especially if the whole thing is deemed, public or organized.
That level of deterrence just creates this unique market structure.
There are zero legal options.
None. No casinos, no sports betting shops, no licensing framework whatsoever.
And the government doesn't just rely on the threat of arrest, right? They're using these highly advanced technical measures to try and choke the digital supply.
Which means
Active blocking of gambling websites. Aggressive restrictions on any financial transaction that even looks like it might be related to an offshore platform.
which leads to a kind of regulatory paradox.
It does. Since all gambling is a crime, there's no regulator, there's no licensing process, and of course there's zero formal taxation for operators or players inside Iran.
So an operator's tax burden falls entirely to wherever they're based. Curacao, Malta, somewhere like that.
Yes, but for any assets they have or manage inside Iran, the risk is total.
100%.
Absolutely. Within Iran, operators face a 100% risk of asset seizure if their infrastructure or their local agents are found. It completely negates any theoretical financial advantage you'd get from not paying local tax.
So you're basically trading a tax burden for this existential day-to-day operational risk.
Exactly.
And we've seen clear evidence that the crackdown is getting worse.
Right. That 2024 shutdown of the Nitro Bet network was a huge deal. It showed the government is really intensifying its efforts.
And we've tracked other attempts too, right? Like the proposed legislation in 2021.
Yes, that suggested, potentially even capital punishment for people running massive networks. Now, that specific measure didn't pass, but the trend is obvious.
A systemic effort to raise the risk to an unmanageable level.
And all this pressure, the legal and the technical, means the cost of running services in this market is just dramatically inflated, even without taxes.
Okay, so if the risks are that high, how does the market still function? That's the part that's hard to reconcile.
It is.
Let's shift focus completely. Let's look at the consumer side. What is driving this persistent underground market despite all the warnings?
The answer is, well, it's firmly rooted in Iran's demographic reality and its digital capacity.
The population is huge, over 87 million.
And incredibly young. The median age is just 32, with over half the population under 30.
That's a massive tech-fluent consumer base. They're hungry for digital entertainment.
If you look at that profile and compare it to, say, other highly regulated markets in the region, this demographic is just prime for online consumption. And if they can't get sanctioned options, they're going to look elsewhere.
And they have the tools to do it.
That's the key point. High digital enablement meets high demand, Internet penetration is over 75%. And mobile penetration, this is crucial, is nearly universal at 96%,
So everyone has a smartphone.
pretty much. And smartphones are the primary access devices.
Yeah.
Average daily usage is around 4.5 hours. It shows a deeply engaged online audience.
So you have this mix of youth, connectivity, and restricted entertainment. It just fuels immense, well, illegal demand.
Right. And that digital foundation translates directly into economic activity, even if it's all hidden.
So what are the estimates for this black market? What kind of money are we talking about?
The data is obviously unofficial. It requires some pretty sophisticated estimation, but independent sources consistently place annual revenues in the hundreds of millions of US dollars.
Hundreds of millions.
And what's maybe most astonishing is the projected growth. This market is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate, a CGR, of between 12 and 15% over the next 5 years.
Wow. Okay. That figure, 12 to 15% growth, that's incredibly significant for a market that's facing absolute prohibition.
It is.
It suggests that enforcement just isn't keeping up with demand. Maybe players just think the risk of getting caught is, acceptable.
Exactly. That high growth, despite the extreme penalties, is the fundamental paradox here. And when we look at what they're actually playing, it gives us more insight.
What are they playing?
Despite the risk, over 58% of internet users engage in some form of online gaming.
And which games dominate?
Sports betting, especially on football, that accounts for the largest share, about 42%. Then you've got online poker at 30%, and then classic casino slot games at around 25%.
And what about spending?
We see a pattern there too. The average spend is relatively moderate. It sits around $100 to $150 annually per active user,
So that suggests it's not a high roller market, it's more of a mass market thing.
characterized by frequent, smaller transactions. It's all designed to maintain discretion and minimize personal financial exposure.
And they're using mobile for that, for
Yeah.
the accessibility and the privacy.
Right, which brings us straight to the operational side of things. How do these small, frequent transactions even happen? And how do operators get around all the roadblocks the state puts up?
That is the critical question. You have two huge hurdles: sophisticated state censorship and these debilitating international financial sanctions.
On the tech front, Iran has one of the world's most sophisticated censorship firewalls. Some people call it the filter net.
So operators are in a constant technological arms race with the state.
A constant, exhausting arms race.
What does that look like day to day?
It means constant domain rotation. An operator might launch a new domain, see it get blocked in 48 to 72 hours, and then immediately have to redirect traffic to the next one.
That must be expensive and labor intensive.
Incredibly, it requires a dedicated IT infrastructure just to stay one step ahead. And for players, well, accessing any of these platforms is impossible without using a VPN for everything.
So the whole player base is highly literate in these circumvention tools.
They have to be.
And then there's the financial side, which is almost unique to Iran.
It is. Because of the severe international sanctions being cut off from SWIFT, traditional payment methods just don't work.
You can't just use a global Visa or a MasterCard.
Nope. And that financial blockade has had this fascinating, if unintended, consequence.
Which is?
It's forced a high degree of literacy and adoption of cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin and Tether are heavily favored.
Because they offer anonymity.
Anonymity and a direct path to get around the traditional banking system entirely. Crypto has become the operational lifeblood of this underground iGaming market.
So it's this powerful example, right? The sanctions were meant to isolate them, but they actually ended up pushing people toward crypto to support this illegal activity.
Exactly. But even with crypto, they still need local ways to convert cash.
Right.
So while crypto dominates, the whole system relies on these specialized local payment methods, mobile money wallets like Zarinpal and Pay.Air.
And they're used with local bank transfers or digital vouchers to funnel the money offshore.
Yes, and this local cash-to-crypto system creates the need for what we call mules.
That's industry jargon. We should define that. What's a mule here?
A mule in this context is an individual or maybe a shell company whose domestic bank account is rented out, usually for a high fee. It provides a temporary deposit point.
Because the offshore operators can't legally connect to Iranian banks?
Exactly. The funds land in the mule account, they're quickly pulled together, converted to crypto, and then transferred offshore within hours.
That sounds extremely risky for the account holder.
It is. And it results in incredibly high monthly operating costs for the offshore operator, even with no official taxes to pay.
So the cost of these rented bank accounts, the constant domain rotation, the high crypto fees, It all means running this kind of operation is exceptionally expensive.
The operational costs just eat up so much of the theoretical profit.
Okay, let's bring this all full circle. Let's focus on the practical risk. What does this mean for, say, a legitimate, licensed, global iGaming company?
Our evaluation suggests a level of risk that is, well, it's unprecedented, almost prohibitive.
And the data supports that.
When we look at our gambling database's country rating, the numbers are stark. The market gets an operator ease score of zero point 0 out of 10
0.
and a player access score of zero point 0.2 out of 10.
The low access score makes sense with the filter net and the payment blockade, but a 0.0 for operator ease. What does that tell us?
It tells us that the overall market attractiveness rating is zero point 0.1 out of 10. We categorize it as strictly black market only, or extremely high risk. A 0 means compliance is impossible, legal certainty is 0, and operational risk is absolute.
And we have to stress the non-local risks. For offshore operators, this is where the real financial danger is for a licensed business.
The biggest risk isn't just Iranian enforcement, it's violating U.S. and EU sanctions, the serious OFAC risk.
OFAC, the Office of Foreign Assets Control, the U.S. Treasury Department that enforces sanctions.
Right. Processing even moderate financial transactions linked to Iran can get your entire global company permanently blacklisted.
Plus massive fines.
Massive fines that can run into the tens of millions, and even imprisonment for executives in their home countries.
Yeah.
The legal risk here is just catastrophic.
You face domain seizure, international money laundering charges, and the potential collapse of your whole global business. It's not just a fine, it's an existential threat.
And we can't overlook the human risk. For any local affiliates, developers, or agents who are actually in Iran, the danger is physical. It's immediate.
Arrest, imprisonment, physical punishment.
That level of risk is an operational cost that legitimate companies just cannot and should not ever bear.
So our final assessment of risk versus reward is, it's stark and it's clear.
While the underground market generates substantial revenue, hundreds of millions, it is entirely uninvestable for any legitimate licensed business.
The potential profit is just inextricably bundled with the risk of violating major international financial sanctions. It completely outweighs any reward.
This is strictly a criminal enterprise market.
So we've uncovered this complex, highly dangerous contradiction. You've got this immense, digitally driven consumer demand trapped under a severe legal and physical iron curtain.
It's a powerful illustration of technology's ability, specifically high mobile penetration in crypto, to facilitate activities that are explicitly and harshly forbidden by the state.
And given that this underground market continues to grow, projecting that 12 to 15% CIGR despite the harshest possible enforcement, what does this environment really teach us?
What does it teach us about the limits of governmental control in an era of decentralized tech and high consumer digital literacy?
That's something for you to consider as you look at other closed markets.
Indeed. We are the Gambling Databases research team, and we're dedicated to delivering these detailed, in-depth analyses of the global iGaming landscape.
In each country-specific report, we explore key aspects like local regulations, taxation, player experience, and operator conditions. Our goal is always to provide a clear, data-driven understanding of how the industry functions in each market and, what makes it unique. For the full text of this and other country reports, please visit our website at gamblingdatabases.com.